Hey folks, glad to be back. Glad to be able to get to the range on a semi-consistent basis. Hope everybody's doing good out there. Today I'm going to be shooting my Marlin 1894 or the 94. This one's chambered in 44 Magnum. I've also got a model, a Smith Model 29 chambered in 44 Magnum that I'm going to be shooting along with it. It's the 4-inch version. These two make a good companion if you're out in the woods. This thing, I think you'll see some chrono numbers here in just a few minutes that are going to impress you out of this rifle. Even out of the handgun, they're moving on good, but you put them in this rifle, ooh-wee, it really wakes this thing up. But I'm going to do some chrono numbers for you, and we'll get back to you. All right. The chrono numbers that I'm going to show you, the handgun is a Smith & Wesson Model 29 4-inch barrel. It's going to be running Remington 180 grain, green and white box, jacketed soft points. They're moving on out of there pretty good. I've always known the Remington 180 grains to be loaded very, very hot. I would stack them up against just about any maker's 180 grains. Normally, when I shoot a 44, the 240 grains are always going to have more recoil. The heavier bullet moving at a fast pace is always going to have more recoil. But these 180 grains coming out of this Model 29, oh my goodness, these things are smoking. I think you'll be able to see on the chrono numbers what I'm talking about. But I'm going to run the same 180 grains Remington green and white box out of the lever gun, and we'll see what the chrono numbers show. I think we might both be surprised. All right, as you can see, the chrono numbers are pretty surprising. I think one of the highs on the 44 in the handgun was somewhere around 1,600 feet per second. So I think they're ranging somewhere between 1,550 and 1,600 feet per second, which is moving out of a 4-inch barrel. 180 grain trucking along at 1,600 feet per second out of a 4-inch barrel, that's moving. But then you put it in this thing right here, woo-wee! Well, I'm gonna tell you what, there's a couple of calibers that benefit from rifle barrels, and it ain't 9mm, 40 or 45. It's 357 Magnum and 44 Magnum. Those two calibers, man, you put the right load with the right powder, the right bullet weight, the right powder charge in the right barrel length, and man, it wakes it up. So with the rifle, we're looking at what, 2,300 feet per second it was, averaging just a little less than 2,300 feet per second, average probably 2,275. So let's put this into context. A 30-30, which is known to be a great brush gun, 100 yards and in, you're looking at, with a 150 grain, 30-30, 2,200 feet per second, maybe 23. You're looking at about 2,300 feet per second with a 180 grain 44. Not only is it heavier, it has more frontal mass, and it's moving the same speed, if not a little faster. So inside 100 yards, I think this thing right here will do the trick. Now, you start stretching its legs on out, it's not a rifle caliber. It's not going to maintain its velocity out like a 30-30 will. It doesn't have the bullet coefficient. It's just a flat, big chunk of lead moving out at a pretty good clip. But I'll be honest, I was a little surprised with those numbers. I wasn't expecting 2,300 feet per second out of this 18-inch barrel. I was expecting 21, maybe 22. But that shows you the difference between a 44 Magnum and a handgun at 1,600 feet per second and a 44 Magnum out of an 18-inch barrel rifle at 2,300 feet per second. That is just unreal. So stand by and we'll do a little shooting with this rifle. All right, on this rifle, if you live in a state where you can, it's like I said last week, if you live in a state where you can't have an AR, an AK, something like that, this would make a great home defense gun. You can buy attachments that will allow you to mount lights on the side. You can mount optics on top if you want to. I'm not sure how they would hold up on this, but you get a good quality optic, it'd probably hold up pretty good. So let's run this thing and see at 10 yards, 30 feet, how fast I can get shots on target with these semi buckhorn sights. Not bad. Let's go down here and take a look. I did have one high, but the other ones, if you'll notice, like I said, this target's not real big. That's my hand. I can cover all my shots with the palm of my hand easily. So that is probably 4 inches. That extreme one might be 5. And I did have one flyer, but I'm gonna tell you, inside a house, that 44, that put a whooping on somebody. So let's go shoot some more. All right, we'll top this thing off. You notice the Marlin isn't as pretty as a Winchester. It's not. The wood doesn't look as good. The finish on the wood isn't as good. The bluing doesn't look as good. The fit of the wood is not as good. I don't know how well y'all can see the fit in here on the Tang. The fit is not as good. But as far as durability and functionability, this thing runs great. Never had any problems with Marlin lever guns. I know they did have a period of time where quality slipped pretty bad. I didn't have any from that era, but this is a fairly new one. So let's run a couple of rounds through this thing, see how it shoots. Watch the recoil on it. It's really not that bad. Now, I wasn't shooting fast. I was just trying to shoot not fast, not slow. I just wanted to get a good sight picture and squeeze the trigger. Cycle it, good sight picture, squeeze the trigger. Cycle it, good sight picture, squeeze the trigger. Let's see what kind of accuracy it puts down range. Now, like I said, I'm no expert with a lever gun, but this is it right here. That's it. About 3.5, maybe 4 inches right there is what I was shooting at. And that was from before. This was the slower fire. So I'm gonna shoot this thing a little more and play around with it. So. All right, let's try to run this thing, see if we can get some rounds off fairly quick. Remember, I'm not good at lever guns. Get them off fairly quick. All right, now, good companion to that Marlin would be this 44 Magnum. It's a model 29, 4-inch barrel. It's not the mountain gun, and it is a newer one. I don't remember what the dash is on it. See if I can read it. I can't read it. My eye's about half blind. I'll tell you later what the dash is on it, but it's a newer one. It's not an old one. I'm gonna shoot this. I'm gonna be honest with you. I used to shoot 44s a lot. Loved them. Not anymore. I'm too old to take the pounding from full house 44 Magnums. I'll load up some lighter Magnum loads here in the future and bring it out and shoot it quite a bit. But these 180 grain Remingtons, they are just screaming coming out of here. But you'll get to see here in just a second. I can usually tame recoil pretty good. I can't tame this thing. I mean, it's not going to kill you. It's not going to beat you up and hurt you, but it's just uncomfortable for me. So let's watch this thing in action. Tell me what you think. Ow. You can tell those rounds are pretty dang hot. Even the brass expands to a point where they stick coming out of the chambers. I've looked at the primers. The primers are flattening out, but they're nothing dangerous. Let's pick one of them up here, show you. They flatten out a pretty good bit. I don't know how well it's going to come out on video. They're flattening out, but you still got a ways to go with that round before it starts getting dangerous. But these things are hot, and I'm going to tell you, they do a number on my hand. But let's shoot some more and see what we can do. Done for the day with this thing. That thing's a bruiser. Show that 44 how it recoils. You tell me those 180 grains ain't hot? Took the hide right off my thumb right there. Them 180 grains are hot. Hey folks, what'd you think about that 44 Magnum video? I tell you what, this Marlin here, that is a very capable gun. It's not as pretty, as you can see. It's not as pretty as the Winchester. To be honest with you, I don't think the quality is there as much as the Winchester. But I will say that action is very smooth, very smooth. I mean, I'm just barely fingering it forward, and it's smooth. It's smooth, I tell you. I like the action. Wouldn't mind having a short throw kit put in there. Might do a little trigger work on it. A lot of people have complained of the Marlin trigger. See how it moves forward? A lot of people don't like that. Doesn't really bother me. Doesn't bother me at all. But yeah, this thing is actually pretty fun to shoot. Recoil's very manageable. It recoils more than a 223, obviously. To tell you the truth, I think it recoils less than a 30-30. I think it's on par with a 7.62 by 39 AK round. I think it's on par with that. It is less than a 30-30, but you're getting ballistics probably out to 100 yards, just as good as a 30-30. So remember that. If you're in an area where you can use pistol calibers, and you've got a 30-06, something like that, and you're in a heavily wooded area, you might want to pick up one of those Marlin 44s and make a good brush gun. Little twigs and stuff aren't going to set its trajectory off path. The other gun I shot was this. It's the Smith & Wesson Model 29. Little freaking hand cannon. I can shoot the longer barrels, Smith & Wessons, with heavy loads, quite a bit longer than I can shoot these shorter barrels with heavy loads. If I was going to shoot this thing much, I'd have to change them grips out, put some Hogue grips on it with a rubber back strap, because it tore my thumb up pretty good. I don't know if you can see it, but it tore my thumb up pretty good, just the little bit that I shot it. But I did a little trigger work to it, smoothed things out some. When it came, it was heavy and a little rough, but now it's nice and smooth. I backed the screw out on the hammer spring a little bit, but not too light. You notice it still detonated all the primers. But this 44 Magnum and this 44 Magnum, good companion guns. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'm not a lever gun expert. Next week I'm gonna get back into handguns where I belong. But I love old revolvers. I know this isn't an old one, but I love blued steel and wood. It's my favorite, always has been. I love 1911s, blued steel and wood. I have no stainless 1911s. I have no hard chrome 1911s because I like blued steel and wood. Again, I like lever guns, blued steel and wood. That's how a lever gun's supposed to come to me. Blued steel and wood. So I just wanted to make a couple of videos with lever guns, show y'all that I'm not totally a one-trick pony. I do venture outside of handguns from time to time, but for the meat and potatoes of what I do, it's fighting handgun stuff. So hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a like. That helps me out. And share it around some if you enjoyed it. If you didn't enjoy it, don't share it. Give me a dislike. I just do this because I enjoy it. I ain't making no money off of it. I'm not getting any free stuff from it. I'm just doing it because I like it. It's fun. So hopefully y'all enjoyed it. Have a good one.